Okay, great. So we're recording now. So like we talked about before, we'll just assume that we're going to make this public. And then if during the recording, if anything gets shared that you think maybe shouldn't be public, then just interrupt me and say, hey, I think maybe, we should cut that out. We'll stop the recording then, and then we'll start another one. Hopefully we won't have to stop. So we'll just, we'll just go with it. So great to be, does that work for you?
Yes, it's perfect.
Perfect, awesome. It's great to connect with you. I really appreciate you reaching out and being interested in connecting with us and potentially working with us. It's pretty extraordinary right now because we don't have any job postings out there publicly, like on Handshake or anything. So you're one of a couple of people that have found us anyway. So I'm very interested in that and think that it's significant because we're kind of hard to find right now. So for you to find us, I think is significant. So tell me a little bit more about your studies and your professional aspirations and how you see this opportunity fitting in with what you're up to in the world and what you're interested in the world, and what wins you feel like you could potentially get from having a relationship with us. And we'll see if there's a good match between the wins that you're looking for and the wins that we can provide. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds great. I'm a public health major specializing in sociology. So I think it's really important in addressing certain issues in today's society and getting it across to different groups of people. So when I saw your organization, I actually joined a WhatsApp group just to know more about it because I thought it was really interesting. So then
Got it. Okay. I didn't realize that that's where you came from. Okay, great. So you actually were one of the people. Now, did you see a flyer or did you?
Yeah, I saw a flyer. I go to Ohio State, so I saw a flyer on their website. So then I was interested in it. So I joined the WhatsApp group, and then they posted like videos on what your organization's about. So then I, researched it and watched YouTube videos because I was really interested.
Got it. Okay, that's great. That's great to know that created some results out of that. That's wonderful. You're the first person from that group that I'm interviewing. So we had, I think, about 10 people in the WhatsApp group. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe we should go back and reach out a little bit more. But that's great. That's great that you're interested in following up. What do you imagine doing beyond school? Where do you want to go? From where you're at right now, what sort of work do you want to do out in the world that you're imagining?
Yeah. I want to be more hands-on in the community and just influence different groups of people to be aware of what's going on around us when it comes to deforestation, climate change, and just these issues that aren't really talked about, especially with social media being a big influence in today's society. So I think that's really important to just influence young people who are like even in like high school who may not really know the importance of climate change or those type of issues. So that's really what I really want to focus on.
That's really great. I'm really happy to hear that. I really appreciate that that's your interest because it's a key part of what we need for the overall plan, right? We need some of those people doing some of that work. So I'm very happy to hear that you're one of those people that wants to do some of that work. That's really, really wonderful.
Yeah, because growing up, I didn't really understand these issues that are really big today. So I feel like there's a lot of people out there that might not really understand or just get that information or might not even have those resources to even learn about these information. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you for saying that. And that's great that you've had that direct experience, that you weren't exposed to a lot of these things. And so a lot of others aren't. And that you're interested in educating and sharing. That's really great. Awesome. So thank you. So I think the first question I have you been doing any of that type of work in terms of, promoting things like on your social media or developing a following or anything along those lines yet? Or have you been not going?
Yeah, I've been doing that a little bit more, trying to, educate people. If I see a certain topic that I think is really important that not many people know about, I'll try to repost it and talk about it through social media, since that's a really big part of our society nowadays. And I've gained a following on TikTok actually, and I'm trying to, introduce those ideas to that following and going bigger with it.
That's great. That's a great opportunity, of course. How many followers do you have on TikTok now, just to give me an idea?
50,000.
50,000, that's pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
so that's why I really want to start posting on there now that I have that following and I know people are watching, and I think that's a good platform to do it on.
Yeah, for sure. That's really, really great. I'm really happy to hear that you already know how to develop a following. You've been doing a good job, and now we get to help support with some content and that sort of thing, and maybe
Right.
connecting and that sort of thing. That's really, really great. Exciting.
Yeah.
How, yeah, what sort of content has been like your bread and butter for developing followers on TikTok, just to give me an idea?
I started on there just for fun, so I slowly developed followers just through, the trends on social media. And I'm from Africa, so I have like a lot of African followers. And then I think it's important now that I have the followers to start introducing those topics to see just how people react to it and just spread that information.
Yeah, for sure. That's really, really great. And again, awesome that you've been able to develop followers and multi-continents. That's awesome as well.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You're a worldwide influence. Very, very, very cool. And just again, so I have an idea, when you say following different social media trends, I know, TikTok obviously is a lot around media, like dancing, singing, that sort of things. Are you doing any kind of that content, or is it more like talking about things and ideas, or what?
Yeah, it's more like talking about things. No, I can't dance, so I don't do like the dancing trend. So I just find something that I genuinely like that resonates with me, and then I kind of apply it to the social media world.
Mm-hmm. That's really, really great. Awesome. Is there any of that you want to show me now? Some of like your most popular videos, or some of the things that you've posted that has, some of this concept, things that you've shared with people, ideas that you've shared with people that's been important to you?
Yeah, I actually got locked out of my TikTok a couple of days ago, so I'm trying to get it back. I lost the password, but I can like email it to you once I get it done.
Okay, that sounds good. That's too bad that you're dealing with that, but I'm sure you'll get that resolved.
Yeah, they emailed me and they said in like 24 hours I can restart my password and stuff.
Got it. Perfect. Okay, great. Okay, good. So, there's a lot of different places we can go right now in terms of how you can use the resources at hand through Uniting for Action to accomplish what you're looking for. We've been shifting quite a bit for the last few weeks. Since you checked out some of the videos and stuff, did you see some of the different like team videos and that sort of thing with the on the different teams? Okay, great. So the first thing to share with you, just so you know right off the bat, is that we have taken a bit of a pause, a breather on the teams for the moment, because I realized that I'm not going to be the person managing the teams anymore. Okay. That is actually we're going to actually bring somebody on our team who's going to be like the student team coordinator and that sort of thing. And so we're looking to fill that role. And while we're doing that, we do have another student, as I mentioned, Afomia, also from your school.
Oh, really?
Yep, she's from your school, and she also just reached out to us a couple weeks ago, and so she just joined, and she's supporting in being a user of the system and supporting with the system. I think, to give me an idea, give me a sense of like the average number of hours per week or per month that you're imagining putting into it, and then also, are you doing this for any kind of practicum requirements or anything like that? So give me a sense of, what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm looking to do this for a capstone requirement. So then I'm looking at about like 10 hours a week. I think I need like a total of 120 around there for like the entire semester.
Okay, let me make a couple of notes.
I can search up exactly how many hours. I think I have it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it would be a total of 120 hours.
Okay, good. That's really typical with what we've done with a lot of other students before. And so again, it's going to be a little bit different this semester, since at the moment, it's not going to be so focused on the teams, although as the semester goes on, we'll start to head back in that direction again, because
Okay.
we will be ramping up to do a lot of recruitment for the summer. With the anticipation that we'll have like dozens of students coming on board over the summer. And then as we're doing that recruitment through the spring, then we'll have, you know, more and more students just showing up, and we'll start to recruit for specific things like website programming is going to be one of the first things that we're really going to recruit heavily for. But we've been really grounded in public health for the last year. I don't know which parts you got to see, but basically I presented to 2 classes at the University of Miami a year ago in preventative health. And I presented to 50 medical school students and 50 public health students. And out of those presentations, there's about 6 students that joined and said, hey, we want to be a part of this. And so we started with them, started having weekly meetings with them December a year ago. And then very quickly, they started recruiting from other schools around the country. And we started to develop this national team. And we started to have all these different teams of the business team, recruitment team, outreach team, production team, and research team. So yeah,
amazing.
so that's what, yeah, it was amazing how it all just organically grew out of that. And so that's been our experience over the last year, is we've had between 10 and 15 students each semester as they have been turning over every semester. And you know, we've been doing a lot with that whole student group. And yeah, it's been an amazing experience, and you'll be able to see a lot more of the work that they did and the videos and that sort of thing, all the foundation that those groups of students helped laid for us. And now the reason that we've kind of pulled back from the attention on the students is that we're focusing on really developing the business side right now, in particular, the leadership council, who are leaders in the community that are joining this council and making a financial commitment and an energetic commitment and a relationship commitment to be able to help get all of this off the ground. And there's a whole lot of extra stuff that's happening right now. I'm thinking that maybe I should just show you this 10-minute video I recorded today, because I think it'll kind of cut to the heart of what we're doing is all about right now, and give you a sense of where you'd like to find your place in it all, because it's really amazing, the opportunity that's here right now, because it's kind of like a blank canvas, and you get to kind of, you know, decide how you want to, one, create a vision for yourself and use the system to achieve whatever visions that you see, especially in the areas that you're talking about, being an influencer in the areas that you're talking about. And also, you know, to be behind the scenes, working with the leadership council, the other students, me, everyone, to actually create, you know, this whole system that's doing all of this. So I think that's probably the best. Should I show you this video right now? And then
I would love to.
We'll continue the conversation. Okay, you're going to be the first person that's seeing it. I haven't even sent it out yet. So yeah, let me pull it up. And again, there's so much to share about what's happening right now and the shifting that we're doing and all of that. So that's why I think that, again, really showing you this video just kind of throws you right into the middle of all of that, and then lets you see again kind of the landscape from this, like, drop down in the middle without all the context. I'll give you more context afterwards, but you'll at least get to see what we're doing with it. Now, what this is, and this is where you'll get to see Afamia, as I was having this session with her the other day. Well, I'll give you some context. I've created, let me take a quick drink. Any questions about anything I've shared so far?
Oh, no, I'm just paying attention and listening. It seems really cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I appreciate that. It is. I think I can say objectively, it is cool. So what we're doing right now with Uniting for Action is we're being a membership organization of people who want to come together and work together cooperatively and collaboratively to create results, really is what it comes down to. And I've created this whole organization to create results at the highest levels, like you're talking about, right? To curb deforestation and to address climate and to address plastics and pollution and on and on and on and on. All of these huge issues that are way beyond the scope of what we're able to wrap our arms around at this point, right? They're all like still out of control, running out of control issues, right? And we know we're heading over a cliff with them. So, you know, okay, so what do we need to have as a system in order to be able to mobilize society at that kind of scale to be able to really make a difference, right? So that's where I've been coming from for many years now. My degree, my background is in aerospace engineering. So I have that rocket scientist mind of like, how do I take all these pieces that exist in the world? This is how I work. Is how do I take all these pieces like, you know, Twitter and YouTube and Google and Apple and, you know, whatever, and how do we stitch them all together to create the solutions that we want in order to achieve what we want to achieve, right? So the first thing is having an organization of people who are choosing to work together cooperatively and collaboratively, because in order to address anything at scale, we need to work together cooperatively and collaboratively, right?
Right.
So that's the first thing, is kind of finding everyone in society that's willing to be that. Okay, great. That's our membership organization. People that want to work together cooperatively and collaboratively. Then, and this is a thing, and I'm still sharing this limitedly. We haven't put it out there yet because it's still working on figuring it out. But I'll just share with you that I think it's likely we're going to early on have the interface, the user interface, essentially revolve around several different virtues, and basically like gamifying virtues, right? So you have like cooperation and integrity and reliability and communication and just like kind of on and on and on of all the things that we need in order to create results in the world. And everybody's kind of like working to have a high score in all of these different areas, right? So that's like one aspect of what's happening. We have all of these solutions. So it's this membership organization as well as a solution organization, because you've seen some of those solutions on the website and in the videos. And the collective strategic framework is a big solution that I've been working on and put some materials around. And now this is our the manifestation process is what I'm about to show you, is another solution. And that's what we're leading right now with, is the manifestation process, because all of us want to create results, right? And so it's universal. Like we all want to create results, whatever those results are, right? In terms of finances, in terms of relationships, in terms of work, in terms of whatever. But if you think about it, here's something that we all want, and yet there's no one system for us to use to actually systematize what we're all doing, right? So without that system, if you think about it, every single one of us is trying to become an expert in creating results without even like really connecting with each other about like how everyone else is doing it, right? Like how crazy is that when you think about that? Whatever you want to get done today has been done 1,000 times by other people yesterday, and you have no access to how they figured out how to do it at this point.
That's true. Yeah.
And you have to start again at scratch, you know? It's really immature as a society, if you think about it, in terms of the evolution of our society. Like we are literally on the verge of leaping from that whole idea that essentially we've been independent neurons that have been existing separately and can only do the work of one neuron. And now we're about to connect all those neurons and turn into a collective brain where everything that we do is learning for somebody else. And everything that we're about to do, we start where everybody else left off. So it's going to be a whole like new way that we operate as a society.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's just one example of like one solution that Uniting for Action is bringing right now. And so let me share with you this video and then we'll get into a bit more. So any questions about anything I shared so far?
No, it like makes sense to build off of each other and just creating a whole world where people are just communicating and just sharing their ideas so we can all work together. So I really like that idea.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, great. So let's dive in. And then we'll see where this leads us. let me just give an overview of the whole process, and then we'll dive in. I'm sorry, that's the wrong video. That's a 32-minute video. We're not going to go into that right now. Let me give you the 10-minute video that I was just created. Here we go. So that's another video you can watch afterwards, which is the tutorial. That was the tutorial of the manifestation process. So after, I'll share all of this information with you. But here, this is my message to the Leadership Council members themselves in terms of what the opportunity is for them as leaders on the council to do right now.
Okay.
Hey team, Leadership Council members. The game has been changing a bit. You know, and we talked about it in our previous meetings, you know, first 2 meetings ago, asking, what do we lead with? And this past meeting, you know, clarifying that it's the manifestation process that now has gotten much more refined. So I have this very detailed worksheet that I've shared with you, and now this very detailed tutorial that explains it all. And this is, you know, it's a different, we didn't talk about this when we initially had our conversation about you being a leadership council member, so it's not required, but it's an opportunity for you to get the most out of this experience with these leadership council members and with the technology and the collective reach of all of our networks. This is the power. This is the opportunity. We're preparing to present this to anybody, the systematized way of creating results that we haven't had before in society, which is crazy if you think about it, that we've all wanted to create results. We're all trying to create results all the time, and yet it's such an individualized, like custom, like personal experience. Like we're all trying to figure out how to create results without actually having a system where we all systematize, document, refine, test, have data on for best practices, for results about everything, for anything you've ever wanted to do, have done. Like you could have a step-by-step guide of the best way to do it, all the costs involved, who you need to connect with. It could all be so automated that you could just say, I want this, I'm willing to put this towards it. It's enough. The system figures out all the connections, all the people, all the stakeholders, everybody gets what they need, and boom, you have what you want. So that's the system that we're building toward, almost like an instant manifestation. It's really kind of crazy when you think about what will be possible when it's all systematized to that degree. Bringing it all the way back to where we are right now, you are the first users. You are the ones that get to really help write how this goes and show people like how we create results, because these are creating results are things that you've done for your life. That's why you're here. You're a leader. You've created results in the world. And yet again, you have not had a system like this to be organizing all of those results. Just like you organize, you know, your finances and your schedule and all the different ways we organize things, it's time for us to start organizing results. And that's what we're doing in a way that you can have it all mapped out. You can have all of the different potential strategic partners, referrers, whatever it is that you need in your business, whatever it is you need in your life. This is how you manage it all through this system. And you use the whole network to expand your reach way farther than you ever could on your own, because now you're packaging your needs in the form of these videos and these written descriptions, and here's all of my needs, and I'm even willing to pay, you know, commissions or incentives to people to bring me these things, and these things will start coming because we'll all start being representatives for each other. We're all agents for each other. We're all sharing the others with the world because we are incentivized to do so, and we're earning literally tons of money, thousands of dollars a month, tens of thousands of dollars a month from connecting different people with different people that could do business together, that could do something together, that when we've got an agreement in place, and you know, the ideal is that it's 10% for everybody for all deals, like is the standard for the system.
So you connect people, they do, $20,000 in business, you earn $2,000. And that can be happening all the time, like every month, like with all of it's going to flip the financial world, our existence, because once we are making more money just by connecting entities and creating value in the world for others, then we're going to not have to do whatever we've been doing to earn money, to make a living and to get by. Now we're going to have a system where we can actually even put more into the system to get more out of it. We can spend more time connecting people. We can spend more time becoming an expert in some area to find the right people to connect in the right situations and again, it just allows us to live however we want to be living in the world, thriving, giving our visions, our intentions, our devotions to whatever it is that we want to create in the world. And so this is the system that facilitates that for you, for others. You are getting to be the first users to show people how to do this. We're bringing it to the world right now. We are being the founding fathers and mothers of this new reality for our society. So this is the opportunity now that we have. The beginning of this worksheet, which will soon be online in editable pages that you'll be able to share with people. So that's where we're going as quickly as I can devote the time to programming that. And then for right now, we're filling out this worksheet. We're creating videos. I'm starting to have meetings with people to do the analysis. So we can schedule, if we haven't already, schedule a meeting to an analysis so that we can dive in and get some of this on video so we can start showing it to the world. And then as we show it to the world, then now we're starting to get our needs filled. We're starting to allow it to go out through first our networks just individually sharing, but as we have channels, then people will just tune into that type of information and they'll just find you there. So you'll start to connect with the people that are most interested in what you're talking about, just because we're starting to attract all of those people in the world and they're finding you through that channel. So this is how we are going from where we are right now to where we're going to be going in the coming weeks. And so right now is our time to start really getting our visions down, start defining them, start using the worksheet so that we can start to create these videos, start to create these descriptions, and start to move forward on your vision. Whatever vision is compelling to you, you have to find a vision that has right now the return on investment that you need right now, especially for a lot of people, financials. For a lot of you, it should be something in your business that's making a difference, a big difference in your business that's going to create a new product or line, or it's going to create a new realm of what you're doing, or you're going to open up a new stream of potential clients, whatever it is, so that you can use this process. It's not going to sit outside your finances and try to finance what you're doing on the side. That's not a sustainable model. So really the more sustainable model is for you to tie some finances into this, some increase in your finances in some way, so that you can immediately see a discernible and important impact where you put more finances and more time and more energy, or you can, into the system to create even more financial impact. But the main thing right now is take on projects that you care about, that'll make an impact in the short term, that you've been thinking about, that you would love to do, that you would love to do. You just need to get all of these pieces in place to execute. And this is the system that's going to have you do that. It's going to systematize that. It's going to facilitate that for you. It's going to make it easier and more organized than it ever could have been otherwise. So use this to create the results that you want now. And as we do that in this 3 months of your term on the Leadership Council, then everything else that we're looking for will fall into place. This is just the step that needs to take us from where we are to the next step of having results and demonstrating results and showing people in the world that this works and how this works, and And we know it's going to work because it's people coming together, collaborating to create results that can only get created when people are coming together and collaborating. So we will find the right projects. You have the right projects in your head, in your mind, in your visions to bring into the system to create the results that need to be created in the world that you're going to make sure are getting created in the world. And this is your opportunity to do so.
Wow. I really love that idea, and I think that could really advance us as a society.
Yes, it will, because there's no reason not to do this. You know, there's all the reasons that we haven't been doing it yet, but now that we're finding people that are in alignment with the idea of it, there's more than enough of us to create this reality. So that's what we're doing. So again, really at this point, the needs are so broad, so wide open, that it really is very much you just creating a vision for yourself within all of this, of the role that you would like to play in all of this. You know, you being at such an early stage, you can be thinking as big as you want. You know, if we start to talk about, like, you know, what I've been thinking about lately, I'll give you examples of like where I'm imagining like top global influencers, like the biggest, you know, movie stars and music artists and that sort of thing, like creating like commercials for us, essentially, like around these virtues, basically, is like one example. Like, you know, one, you know, an artist talking about how important it is to be you know, in integrity, and like what a difference it's made for them and that sort of thing. So imagine like seeing that on television. You know, imagine whatever your favorite music artist is talking to you about, you know, how by all of us coming together and operating on a higher level of integrity, that we can create this and we can create that and we can create that. So go to unitingforaction.com right now and sign up and start joining the rest of us that are, you know, coming together on a higher level to be in integrity with what this planet needs. You know, you can't embody integrity until this planet is in integrity. You know, we've got to go beyond ourselves. So we get to embody it as the one, and then embody it as the collective. And so just as an example, and again, so you can be, you know, you can be doing research, you can be doing outreach, you can be doing, you know, with what you're describing in terms of wanting to be an influencer. You know, I see really you connecting with a lot of other influencers and doing cross-pollination. That's kind of the way that I've been seeing it strategically in my mind, is that we're working with you to create the type of content that you're imagining delivering to your audience, to your existing followers. And then simultaneously, we are looking around the landscape and you're identifying all of these influencers that you admire and you would really love to connect with and have, you know, different influence in different areas, and you reaching out to them, showing them the type of content that you've been creating, you know, with Uniting for Action to reach your followers, and you'd like to work with them to help them do something similar with their followers. And you know what I'm saying?
Collabing,
Collabing, exactly. And really like demonstrating the power of creating teams and creating movements. And so, you know, you can find a vision, you know, find 10 influencers that you know, think would be all in alignment with that, go out and get, you know, 5 of them signed up, and now you're creating this vision in the world. And now it's not just your 50,000 followers that you're reaching, but between, you know, the 5 influencers, now you're reaching 5 million followers, you know.
It could be millions,
you know, with the same messages that you want to get out, and building your own following and all of that. So again, you know, and that's just one example, you know, of where to go with this. So I think at this point, well, I guess the first question is, do you already know that you want to be a part of Uniting for Action? Are you ready to join us?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I'd love to be part of this process. It seems really cool, and I think it can really go somewhere and be really big.
Awesome. Cool. I appreciate it. I appreciate your vision with that, Coumba, and I'm excited to welcome you to the team. Welcome to being a part of this. It's really great. And I'm excited that, the energy that you're bringing, from what you wrote in your email to what you're sharing with me, and your ambitions and desires. I think that you're going to be a really good person to be trailblazing what we're describing in terms of, being a burgeoning influencer, and then working to, open up that whole, influencer aspect of society, actually.
Right.
I'll share with you, I don't know if it's on video anywhere yet. I actually, a few years ago, got so into the concept of how much the influencers could steer society, because I started to think about it. I was like, if we want to move people around climate change or one of these, really big issues, it's like, what show, do I go on, or where do I find that audience, right? But really the answer to that is in, the top influencers that have over 100 million followers,
Right.
or tens of millions of followers. You just get a handful, of those people sending out the same tweet about the same thing, and you're reaching a far wider audience than you can through the national news or anything,
Right. It's crazy how social media is nowadays.
So when I vision that, so far, what I started to do was like, okay, so how can we leverage that whole concept of the influencers and really work with the influencers? And it's been on the back burner for a number of years now. I actually worked on, for some time, developing the website and developing the concept. I'll share it with you now. It's called the Influencer Army. And so the idea is that the influencers start to be organized around these issues, right? And essentially, there are like some army aspects in the sense of like, sergeants and lieutenants and generals and that sort of thing, in the sense that the influencers that want to, that are more and more committed are essentially higher and higher up on the ladder, right? Like a general would be somebody that's putting their time and their energy into going around, and like, imagine a big Hollywood influencer, right? And imagine that they're taking the time to have conversations with their friends to get their friends involved in the system, right?
Mhm.
That's like a general, right? Like that's helping to build the army, right? Type of thing.
Right.
And then there's others that, they're not necessarily doing all of that, but they're more of like herd all the cats, basically, right? To do the work amongst their friends, to like, hey, let's do this thing together. Or, you get what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
all kinds of structures that can be overlaid into the influencer world that allows the influencers to work together in harmony, that would allow for results to get created way beyond what's been happening now. It's been done just a little bit, but it's mostly by accident, for the most part, where a bunch of influencers will start, tweeting about the same thing that's important, or start, posting on Instagram or TikTok or whatever about the same, like you said, things that are trending. But this is more a matter of like creating the trends, right? Like deciding that climate should be what's trending, right? And then doing what needs to get done to make it trending,
Right.
amongst the influencers and that sort of thing. So it's much more strategic and much more specific, but you get the idea of it. And this is where I think that you'll be one of the first people helping to push us into this whole new realm. So there's a lot of development that's already been there, and you and I will keep in this conversation, but I'm really excited about the nexus that you are in public health, being a student interested in influencing others, having your own following already, all of these different pieces. It's really great that you're bringing all this to the table.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I appreciate your enthusiasm and your ability to see, how this all works really clearly. It's a gift to have the vision of it all, and you definitely have the vision of it all. So that's really awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that I'm seeing it, tell me what your thoughts are, but the way that I'm seeing it is, your time with us is essentially going to get divided between, several different aspects of this. So one aspect will be what you're talking about, where you're creating your own, vision and the things that you want to see happen out in the world. And then you're going to be creating and developing content around that and delivering that content to your followers, maybe connecting with other influencers, like I described as one option. maybe deciding that you really want to go deep into some certain aspect of public health and you want to go and interview, experts in those areas or develop panels of experts in those areas. That's another, direction it could go, is for you to do some deep diving in some specific topics. So whatever it's going to look like, there's those aspects of you kind of being a kind of like a power user of the system, basically. But then also you're going to be helping leadership council members and other users of the system understand how to use the system. You're going to be helping to develop the system and tweak the system and developing best practices and that sort of thing, so that you can, help onboard new people, maybe do consultation. There's all kinds of different ways that can go, depending upon your time devotion in that area. And then the other area is in the business development of Uniting for Action. As we're starting to do more recruitment and you want to help support around the outreach team or the recruitment team or other things that we're doing internally. So I think, it's going to be a matter of just kind of sorting it out, kind of seeing how we flow with it over time, especially, just figuring out what you can do, most effectively and most productively with, approximately 10 hours a week or whatever it's going to end up being. And also, I think, like I was saying in the video, we didn't do this with the students before where we connected any finances. And now that I think about it, I imagine that that's probably prohibited by your capstone project. Do you know whether
I think it is,
whether there can be a financial component or not? So if not, if you can't have a financial remuneration from the work that you're doing, and we'll have to see what that looks like, because even if we're not paying you, that doesn't mean that you can't be doing the things that you want to do to build up your following and then potentially get sponsorships, because of your following and that sort of thing, right? I would imagine that wouldn't be excluded within the capstone agreement. Send me the capstone agreement and you'll look through it closely, and I'll look through it closely, and we'll check with your advisors and all of that and make sure that we're doing it, to the T.
Okay.
But I imagine, anyways, the concept of it, as you can see, is that especially if we can layer a financial aspect into this for you, so that you're not only getting the experience and all of that, but you're also making money simultaneously, and you're freeing yourself up to do even more and that sort of thing. You're being a model for others of how to use the system successfully, and it's benefiting you on additional levels beyond, getting your capstone satisfied and getting some great experience and all of that. So, so we'll look at ways that layer can come into play as well. And some of it's going to be, seeing, like I just had a meeting with a leadership council member that you should probably watch along to get some ideas of how he may start to monetize the use of the system. And so some of your time is going to be devoted to content consumption and all that sort of stuff as well. But I think at this point, we'll get you started by sharing some other videos with you for you to start doing some deeper dives into this. We have our leadership council meeting the first and the third Mondays of each month. So the next one is going to be this Monday from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So the students aren't required to be there, but you're welcome to be there. I think Afamia is going to be there on Monday.
Okay.
Do you happen to know if that works with your schedule and if you're interested in being there?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I think it will be good for you to be there, because I think, it's going to help position you with the leadership council members, where they're going to be knowing that you're there for them to a certain degree, that you're there to help support them and making this work for them, and you're being an asset for them, and it'll give you exposure to lots of different business people and lots of different businesses, and good for communications. And a lot of, most, if not all of those meetings will be recorded, so it'll be building your whole portfolio of your experience and your conversations and all of that. So does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Okay, cool. So we'll plan for that for Monday. And then there's we're getting set up with Slack now. Have you ever used Slack before? Are you familiar with Slack?
No.
So it's kind of like Microsoft Teams, if you're more familiar with Microsoft Teams. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
I heard of it.
Yeah, I know more more people in public health or in the Microsoft environment, I've learned.
Yeah.
So it's basically like that. It's our communication platform. So we're getting set up with that. So I'll share some details with you in the next few days on that. We've already got our phone numbers. We're already on WhatsApp, so we've got that covered. I think, let's work on getting your paperwork managed as soon as we can, so we know exactly, how we're going forward with everything. I assume you want to start right away. Are you ready to start right away?
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you'll send me your paperwork. I'm going to send you more of the technical details. I think, again, a bunch of it right now is you to just process all of this, think about it, especially the things we just talked about in terms of what you can do with your followers, potentially other influencers, if that's of interest to you, potentially experts, authors, professors, whatever, in a specific area, if you have some interest in those areas. So I think, again, it's just going to be a bit of processing, and then let's plan to circle back next week after you've thought through a lot of this, and maybe you can give me like a proposal for maybe how you would divide your 10 hours each week. And, it just can be like a rough guide. Like, I think 2 hours each week I would do this, and 3 hours I would do this, and 4 hours I do, and how it may evolve over the course of time for you.
Okay.
Where are you at in your studies? Are you a senior now, or
yeah, I'm a senior.
You're graduating in May?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Are you going on to grad school? Are you going into the workforce, or what are your plans after graduation at the moment?
Yeah, I'm leaving my options open. I plan on going to the workforce and then probably go back to school depending on, how my life course goes. But yeah.
Okay, so I think, again, especially, and this is where, our expectation is that by the summer, for sure, I think that we're going to, will be funded for a lot of positions. And obviously, if you've been, doing this with us all spring and we're happy, then it's a good chance. I certainly don't want to promise it, because there's certainly, the funding is not there at the moment, but my expectation from everything that you've heard is that this is going to be blowing up really quickly. It's really going to be, it's more of like us having to put the brakes on it more than us trying to, because we just have to make sure that we're delivering on what we're describing, right? So it's really vast and awesome, but obviously there's a lot of programming that needs to happen to make all of that work. And it's obviously going to take some period of time. So a lot of this continues to be conceptual as we get the build out of the technology and all that. And again, we're not even funded for any of that yet. But again, I just started the Leadership Council back in December to start this whole interfacing with the world and bringing all the needs that we have, business needs, investment needs, all the different things to us. And I'm pretty sure that within the coming weeks, and especially the next couple of months, that we're going to be start to having supporters, and all the Leadership Council members, just so you know right now, they're all committing to $100 a month for 3 months. So it's $300 up front that they've committed to be a part of this, all the Leadership Council members. We've had one business sponsor that's given us $500 to help them with this system. And we're going to start to have other, sponsors and other businesses that are coming in. So it's happening at like the hundreds and thousands of dollars level now. And in the coming months, it'll start to get into the tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and, millions as quickly as we can. But again, that's where, we're here. We have all the things we need to do to get there. And we're bridging the gap right now. And the biggest leap that is, where I'm seeing where we're going with it is to have like the biggest corporations and the biggest foundations really invested with us in this, like Google and Apple and Nike, putting like tens of millions of dollars a year into the build out of this system, because I think it's a really, really great solution for all of these companies that want to be socially conscious right now, which every company does, right? That's the big thing, is everyone wants to appear, that they're being socially conscious and all of that.
Mhm.
However, as you know, the big challenge around that is around almost every single issue, there's a yin and a yang, right? Like
Mhm.
around almost every single issue. Crazy enough, right? It seems like the issue that everybody should get aligned around, there's still 50-50, right?
Mhm.
So these companies, how do they choose an issue that they're going to take a stand for if they know that, maybe they'll make 50% of people happy, but they'll be alienating, 50% of their customers. So this is really the kind of the grand solution for them, because by backing the Uniting for Action system, which is being, again, I used a lot of the individual models, but you can imagine now on the bigger scale, and I'll share some videos with you about how we scale this up to address climate and plastics and that sort of thing, really to address all of our issues across society, right? So again, the foundations and the corporations, what they get to do is they get to promote the fact that they are supporting this system, which is helping society address all of our challenges on the highest level. So they don't have to get attached to any particular issue or any particular side of an issue. They can just be the helpers of the builders of the system and not have to worry about, being sticking their neck out around any particular issue, right?
Mhm.
So I think that they're all going to be clamoring for that opportunity. I think it's going to be, I would say within a year for sure, we ought to be, having tens of millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars in backing from all of these corporations and foundations. So again, that's where we're headed as quickly as we can, but we have everything we have to grow through to go from here to there, right? So
Right.
it's just like how quickly can we do it? How well can we manage the influx of all the interest and
Mhm.
helpers and supporters? How can we organize it all and keep it all
Right.
together and all of that, right? So you get to be right on the cutting edge of that. You get to be helping figure that out from the beginning and being a trailblazer in whatever areas you want. So I'll just send you a bunch of information so that for the next week or so, you can just consume it all, process it all, figure out, how you think you can best divide your time amongst all of this. And then we'll reconvene next week and start to come up with a game plan for your participation. How does that sound?
Right. Yeah, that sounds perfect. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, you're welcome. I think it's great. I'm very enthusiastic. Let's go ahead and actually set a time right now. So we've got it
Okay.
set. I think maybe next Wednesday, if that works for you. What's your general availability throughout the week at this point? Are you you just started your classes now again?
Yeah, I just started my classes. I'm free on Mondays, and then most days I'm free after 4 p.m.
Okay, so let's say for the moment, let's say next Wednesday, the 19th at 4 p.m. Does that sound good?
Oh, sorry. I have a class that ends at 4 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Maybe 4:30.
Or let me think. Yeah, let's yeah, that's fine. Let's make it 4:30
Okay.
on Wednesday. Okay, and do you think you'll be able to send me your paperwork by end of day tomorrow?
Yeah, is that the capstone requirements?
Capstone requirements, and if there's any, I'm trying to remember, I don't think we've done a capstone with Ohio State University. I think we've only done practicum with Ohio State.
Okay.
Other schools sometimes have competencies that need to be completed, and so there's a bunch of competencies and tasks and that sort of thing that need to get laid out at the beginning of the, I'm not sure if you would have that with your capstone. So do you happen to know if it's, you know, outlining to that kind of degree?
Yeah, I think it's similar to that. And then we have to have a certain number of hours, but I can email my advisor today and hopefully she can get back to me tomorrow with the rules and stuff.
Okay, yeah, if you email her today and she doesn't get back to you by tomorrow, that's fine too. We'll just do it as soon as we can, because that'll give us more of an idea of what we can do and what we need to make sure we're accounting for, you know, in terms of how we're dividing your time and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So, okay, great. I think that's probably going to cover everything right now. Any other questions that you have or anything else that you want to share?
And no, everything makes sense. Yeah. I'll try to get you the paperwork by tomorrow.
Okay, that's great. Awesome. Well, I'm excited again by, you know, you showing up and this coming together. I'm excited about all that you're bringing to the table and to see, you know, where we can go with all of this. So yeah, welcome to the team and let's see what we can do.
Thank you. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too. So be great and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.